to Magathea Builder Worlds. This is a Necromunda scratch build kit bash thing. There you go. This is part 2 of the Sump C House Escher Water Guild Water Reclamation Facility build. There you are. Catchy, huh? Just like all the other catchy titles I've got on my other playlists and Necromunda builds and that kind of thing. Now, if you are brand new to this channel, if this is the first of my videos you're watching, then do yourself a favour. If nothing less, go back and watch episode 1 of this. It'll make a lot more sense. Oh, and then click subscribe, because then you can go and watch all the other videos as well. If you have clicked subscribe, you will be one of over now 4,000, count them, 4,000 people who have subscribed to this channel. I'm absolutely staggered. I never ever imagined that I'd get to this kind of thing. I always thought that, you know, nobody would want to tune in to watch Fat Hobby Gandalf as he sits in his garden shed tinkering with bits of plastic, but hey, how wrong could one be? So if you haven't subscribed, join us, join the cult of CAC and join us here. And if you really want to take your cult of CAC to the next level, then do consider joining my Patreon, www.patreon.com/Magathea Builder Worlds. It's December now, and within the next couple of weeks, we are going to have a new Magathea competition on Patreon, where patrons can submit ideas for a build, and I will select one of those before Christmas as to whose model I'm going to make for them, and they will get that made for them free of charge and delivered to them at some point in the new year. But more of that later. Right now, we're going to get on with this build. So let's kind of like take a look at what we got up to last time. And this is it over here. Come here. Come here. For fuck's sake, get over here. Okay, so here we have the main superstructure of the water reclamation plant for House Escher and the Water Guild. It's on a 2 foot by 1 foot base, like all of my other bits of Sump C scenery, and it's made mainly on a Warhammer 40k Imperial landing pad. There it is. Nice octagonal piece of kit, great big heavy legs, keeping the whole thing upright in the sump. And then I've used a combination of different bits of stuff, including a piece of Nerf gun, some Playmobil, and some other bits of CAC that's going to get added as we go. Here we are in the mini CAC box. I don't have to go do much digging through the CAC. I did that last time. Just got to sift through it now. So things we've got to do in this video. Well, pretty much add all the detail. I've got the general layout and I'm happy with that. It's all stuck down. This bit around this side is going to be my House Escher kind of chem lab, I think. Although I've got ideas for making it into a hab as well. This is off separate because I can make this work on the details and do this separately, and probably even paint it separately, so I could just stick it in place. It will make it a lot less fiddly when it comes to the final fit on the model. The rest of it, mind you, is all pretty much solid. I've got to add Sump C water all around. I'm going to use my usual Sump C method, which we'll get onto pretty quickly. And then I'm going to add various details to cover up the Nerf barrel here and the Playmobil tower over here, and just add that next level of Necromunda detailing. So there's quite a lot to get on with. Oh, and then of course got to paint it. Yay! This is quite a complicated build. Lots of people kind of commented on that on the last one. There's a lot going on here. There's going to be a heck of a lot of metal and rust on this, but we'll see how complicated we can make this model. I've also decided that I'm going to kind of tie this to a given time when it was made by using a number of these bad boys that we've got floating around at home, which are used lateral flow tests, which I'm going to find a use for. I've seen a couple of other modelers do this, which is quite neat. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but you know, I'm going to stick them on anyway. So that's what we're going to do. Where are we going to start tonight then? Well, we're going to start with the sump water. If I can get that on and in place, that then gets time to go off. And while that's going off, I can get on with the detailing of my lab hab, whatever, this bit that's going to go on there. So let's go and get on with the Sump C first of all. Okay, so if you've watched Magathea Builder of Worlds Sump C builds already, you will know that I have a very simple but effective way of representing the water of the sump. Well, water is a very loose term. And we're going to do that using tissue paper and Mod Podge. Yes, we are. It's really very simple and straightforward. We are going to take sheets of tissue paper. Let me just get some here. Doesn't matter what colour, but on this occasion it appears to be green. We're going to take the tissue paper. We're going to take a big fat brush that's over 1 inch. We're going to then take our Mod Podge. Give it a bit of a shake. This is the matte stuff. We're going to then paint, whoops, Mod Podge all over the board. We're then going to layer the tissue paper onto the Mod Podge, onto the wet board, and then we're going to put Mod Podge over the top of the tissue paper, which will help to give it texture, seal it, and all the rest of it. It's a very, very simple process. I've done it half a dozen times or more now on different Sump C builds. So yeah, to be quite honest, you know what? I could probably save you even at this point watching any more of this. You get the idea. Look, I'll tell you what, for those of you who've never seen it and haven't got time to go back and watch the other ones, let me just put some more Mod Podge on this then, like this. Look, Mod Podge, Mod Podge, Mod Podge, under there, round the corner, and then the nice thing about it is then I've got to do the whole thing, but just for you lovely people. Now what I do tend to do is tear the tissue paper, because otherwise you just get neat cuts and that's rubbish. And alright, it wastes a little bit of tissue paper, but on the other hand it helps blend all the paper together much better. So tear off nice straight edges like that and layer on the tissue paper. Thus, there we go, because what that does is then takes glue underneath it, it wrinkles up a little bit, and it's going to give me a bit of texture to paint, and it will look fine and dandy. I'll layer some over the corners here, so bit of Mod Podge over the top of that. It's already starting to wrinkle up nicely. I'm going to try and get my paper in right round all the features, all the different things that are kind of down on the sump water, so they blend really nicely into the sump water. In some cases it tears and I'll end up putting more paper over the top of that. That's absolutely fine. That way I get a bit of ripple, but not much. Plenty to paint. I'm essentially a very lazy painter, so the more help I get from the textures, the better really. There you go. That's how it works. Come back in a minute, I'll have it all done. Oh my god, of course the one problem with making a model like this is the fact that it's just so darn fiddly to do the water on, because of the amount of bits that and having to get access to all it and getting your hands inside it, and you know, what a stupid model to go try and make, eh? Never mind. So this one being a bit more fiddly than so many others, but you know, such is life. Nearly there. Run out of green paper. Look, going for a different colour. Oh, that's no good. Not torn land. Tear it, blend it. Well, that took a heck of a lot more time than I thought it was going to, but now we have tissue paper, surface, water. Yeah, so that's going. Now I need to leave that for 24 hours and see how that goes. It's completely covered in Mod Podge underneath and above. Nice ripply effect in places, and we'll see how that ends up being painted. So while I leave that to dry, I'm going to get on with making something in here. I think that's the next plan. Just got to find somewhere to put this bloody thing. Okay. Well, have I got any room? Okay. Now, I've got a couple of ideas for this bad boy. I talked about it being a lab and also having it. One of the cool things is I found another one. So what I'm thinking of doing is actually stacking one on top of the other. And I'm going to have a lab and a hab unit. Bottom one down here is going to be the hab unit. Because what I'm going to do then is I'll have a remover wall. I'll have the whole thing that takes off the top. This will become the roof for the top one. So it'll sit up there. And then I'll have work out a way of getting into this one, which will either be take the top off the other one, which will be impractical, or lift out the front. That might work. And then I could have two stacked up on top of each other. End walls in there, and then I don't need to worry about the front coming out. That might do it. But to do that, to give me an idea, I already need to go digging through the cack. Yes, I do. It's detail cack this time. Not big bits of cack, little bits of cack. I'm diving into my detailing drawers and other places. This one is a specific one that's various kind of like sci-fi kind of components and bits and pieces. They're quite cool, kind of not Lego, fake Lego tubes, but perfect for this kind of thing. Piping with stuff, they're definitely going to be used. What else we got in here? There's a load of Mantic terrain crate stuff in here, most of which isn't going to be much use at all. It's like a kiddie's playground there. Good for zombies, no good for Necromunda. However, beds, yeah, cool. Well, look, sleeping bags, they look quite cool. And then there's stuff from, God knows who's that from, Maelstrom's Edge. I think that might be Maelstrom's Edge plastic stuff, or there's stuff also from Spiral Arm Studios. Can't remember who distributes those. Look, there's a little set of steps there. Absolutely epic. They're going to get used. Yeah, I've got a load of pipe here that was come from a straw set from when my kids were little. Could use some of that. Well, I don't need that in a minute because I'm more worried about this hab unit in the lab. But there is the odd. Well, there's another sleeping bag. A wrecked sleeping bag's been torn up by zombies, but actually that'll look perfect down in the underhive on a bed. Oh, that's not bad. Good place to start anyway. A contact lens holder. Don't know if I could use that for some kind of windowy thing. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Springs, gunk, cack, tables, romantic terrain crate table, desk. They're made out of that infamous wobbly plastic that's just bent as cobblers, but I could make it into something, I suppose. That'll do. Oh, and then on top of all my stuff for the model, I then got these two sprues of bits. Again, it says on it Terrain Sprue 2. Terrain Sprue 2. They are the same thing. They're not the same thing. They are the same thing. Terrain Sprue 2, and it says Spiral Arm Studios. I can't remember if, well, they're obviously the maker, but I can't remember who they're distributed by. But these are quite neat. Look, there are loads of little kind of just fans and grids and power units and lights and doorway and stuff. It's obviously for making like shanties and things, which could be really handy. So I'm going to definitely be able to use some of that. You put one of those to one side as well. See what we can come up with. Hab first, work that out. I think I'm going to go, where's the bloody model gone here? I think I'm going to stick in both ends. That will help give it its shape first of all, and then I'll only have a front wall that just pulls off, I think. Then, because then I could put the roof in it. Yeah, that would work, because then one thing I haven't mentioned so far is lighting, but this model definitely needs lights. But yeah, then that way it's wide enough to have bunks on the back and that kind of thing. So what window do I cut out? I definitely cut out that window. That'd be kind of cool. You'd be able to see into the bunks and that kind of thing. Right, let's try that. See what happens. Right, so I'm going for a lab on top. Now the lab isn't going to need a lot of open windows because it's a lab, and I don't want people shooting out of it, but it is going to need a door, and I'm going to make this door panel here. I'm going to cut this panel out here to be the back door. I've got this little cool set of steps that I found from Spiral Arm Studios. They will step up into there, I don't know how they're going to stick down the inside, but that way there I'm going to have the lab with workbenches and chemicals and stuff. And like I said, yeah, I don't need windows because I need fans and things and all that kind of stuff. Don't need people working in the lab looking out. I need all the wall space for chemistry stuff. That sounded a little technical, didn't it? Yeah. Okay, so cut this bit out. Then stick together floor, other wall, put the doors in, because that way they'll hold it all in place. Although I'm probably not going to do is actually put this front one on yet, because again I want to get access into the model to put some detail in there. And then this one is going to have this bit sitting on the top, and that will allow access to the lab bit kind of thing. That's my plan anyway. And then although there might have to be the odd window in here, just so you can see in when it's all lit up. Otherwise it will look a bit weird not having it. I am tempted to actually use one of these barricades over one end rather than have one of the doorways, because that would stick on alright, and then it would give it that bit more of an ad hoc kind of feel to it. I think it might look quite cool. They're quite neat Necromunda things. And then you'll be able to see inside. Might even do that at the other end as well, you never know. There's a different one. Okay, so yeah, anyway, cut out the back panel where the door's going to go. I'm waiting for some glue to dry on some of the hab unit bits, lab and stuff, so I'm just messing around now with this nerf tower to make it a bit less nerfy and a bit more 40k, or certainly sci-fi. So I've got a lift platform which fits just beautifully the actual what's that called, arc. The round bit cut out fits beautifully around the top, and that's fitted on. And now I'm using some of these plates, which I think these are from, oh, what are they called? No name escapes me. I'll have to see if I can come up with that. They're from one of the companies who make just sci-fi bits. Look, here's a sprue load of them. And Maelstrom's Edge. That's what it is, Maelstrom's Edge. And they're for going on to scratch-built models and various other bits and pieces to add extra kind of like levels of detail, which are really quite kind of cool. And these just happen to fit into the track on the Nerf barrel here, which is quite neat, because that's going to help just to give a bit of extra texture to that and sell it a little bit more. I love the shape of this barrel. It makes a really cool kind of cooling tower, but I need it to look less obviously a Nerf product and more part of the rest of the model. That of course will definitely help when the whole thing gets primed and it gets painted, but with extra bits stuck on here in places, I think that'll really kind of like help sell the whole thing as a sci-fi model-y thing, which is quite cool. So and this stuff from Spiral Arm as well. Spiral Arm? Yeah, Spiral Arm Studios. Little fans, things like that, lights, what have you. I mean, what's nice about this Nerf gun barrel is the fact that it is hollow. So I'm going to try and maybe figure a way of getting some lights up inside that, because I'm definitely going to be lighting this model. But we're coming on. I've now got this platform stuck on the back here, which is quite cool. So I've now got a couple of levels there. Originally this was going to be a hab unit in its own right, but now I've decided to put a hab, or look, I haven't got any Eschers. Now I've decided to actually just make that bit over here a hab unit itself. This is just the way in, this is the entrance to it, which is quite neat. So I need a set of stairs there. More spiral arm stairs going to go on, I think, but Quite like there's several sets of walkways now. Oh, wait a minute. I like the fact I've now got several layers, several levels, because by the time the lab goes on here, which adds another layer there, we've got lots of layers with a few handrails stuck around the edges here. This is going to look really, really cool. That's something I could get on and do and find while I'm waiting for other bits to dry. I could certainly stick handrails on here and around there. I need to 40k up the Playmobil tower a little bit as well. These handrails are cool, but it needs some kind of texture on the walkway there. And I've still got room to hang stuff underneath, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm going to keep going for a minute. I didn't clean that up. I can see if we can put some bits around there. But yeah, we're getting on. More details needed. Just loads of bits, really. I'm just going to keep digging loads of bits out and just stick them on. Woohoo! So yeah, more diving in through the CAC to find what we can find to help make the whole thing just that bit more, yeah, full on detailed. More of a pain in the ass to paint. So here's a panel. Several people, what's cool and a bit odd about this channel has been that since I started digging through the CAC and it kind of like became the thing that I kind of like do, various people I know and various people I don't know have become my enablers and have sent me CAC. Even my wife, who complains about the amount of CAC I've got lying around, brings me home things from work going, I saw this and thought you might be able to use it. In this case, this panel is a set. In fact, two people sent me these, but this one I think came from my good friend Edward. Hello, mate. And that's going to go perfectly on the top of that Playmobil tower there. Just give it a bit of extra kind of texture, which is nice. So yes, thank you to people who enable my CAC digging by sending me extra CAC because they're worried that I'm going to run out of CAC. Probably not going to happen, but all interesting bits of CAC always valued around here, because you never know what might come next. Chemistry lab details then. We've got what we got going on here? Mantic terrain crate desk up here with some old school dwarf flamethrower tanks on here, which are going to be fed through, because I'm going to put this Cahadron ball malarkey on the outside here, and that is going to get fed with pipes. You can't see that, can you? That's going to get fed with pipes there from the outside of the cooling tower. Now this end, we got what we got here. We got a workbench made from barricade, 2 doors. We got a computer thing. We've got, I don't know, some kind of scientific machinery kind of cooling malarkey type malarkey thing, which is actually from a weapon from a Adeptus Mechanicus vehicle that I've got, and a bit of an Adeptus Mechanicus backpack, which also looks quite nice on there on the desktop there. I'm going to put up a shelf with some jars and things on there, and I think I've probably got enough detail in this bit of the model. Then in the hab unit, I've got a bed that's being made from another bit of a Mantic terrain crate, kind of like a table, not very good, but it makes quite a nice bed, and a more recent terrain crate sleeping bag. It's going to go on that one. It's going to look quite cool. And then I made another bunk out of a crate and a bit of railings, and another sleeping bag that's going to go over that side over there. These are going to have lights inside. I'm going to chuck some stuff on the floor, I think. The odd bit of weapon, the odd bottle or that kind of thing, or a bag, pouch. I don't want to go overboard with the kind of like stuff in the kind of like living compartment, but because it just gets too crowded from a painting point of view. At the minute, of course, I can still get figures inside it, which of course is the other thing you want to be able to do. You don't want to get to the point where you can't actually get figures inside. So much as it's really tempting to put loads and loads of stuff in there, I might put the odd thing up on the wall or ceiling or what have you. The idea with this is the fact that it doesn't get too much stuff put in there. This one is going to have a wall that just clips on and takes off from the front, so you could see inside. I might put a bit of railing or something in here, and I think I might cut out another window as it goes so you can see inside more. And then upstairs, because of course the whole idea is that we have the lab up top. The lab is going to go, actually lab's going to go this way round. We're going to have a double stack then. We're going to have a double stack then from the hab here and then the lab above. I can't cut out any more of these because these have already got all sorts of bits stuck on. Although I could cut out this middle one, but yeah, it's just not very labby really if you cut it out. I've got one back section cut out, which is going to be a doorway, so you could see in from one side. And of course with this model, this partner model as well, obviously you're going to have the roof that's going to lift on and off anyway, and you'll be able to see in this end of it. So there's still quite a lot of ways in. In many ways it means you've got to get down and look around the model in different ways, which is quite cool. But you can see now, when I turn this one back this way round, my idea that I'm going to have got this pipe that's coming out of the side of the cooling tower, and we're going to place this cadron ball on the end there, and this pipe is then going to feed directly into it, and it's sucking something out of the cooling tower, pumping it straight into the lab for making chem stuff. I don't know. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Right then. Shit. Yeah, I forgot none of that was stuck. Alright, so this is bollocks. Right, this is where I'm at then with the hab lab. I'm quite pleased with this. Look, now stuck it on. So lab stuck on top, hab stuck on underneath, with all the knobbly bits, beds in there. Don't know where we can see that. Can't see that there. Beds there. Details in there. They get painted up. All the kind of like cool stuff in the lab, which is pretty neat. This then sits. Oh, and Cahadron globe on the end, which I'm really pleased with. That's going to sit on here, which is quite cool. Then we've got up this end. Then up this end, where are we with the? We've got this cable stuck in there. It's going to end up sticking to that top bit. That'll be quite neat. That'll feed in there directly from the tower, which is pretty cool. And the whole point with these then is this wall here is going to just kind of sit in there. By the time everything's painted, that'll sit in there quite nicely, but it'll know we need to take that out. Oh, bollocks. Wrong wall. This wall will sit in there quite nicely, and we'll know we need to take it out, but that means you'll be able to see in there quite well. I'm still toying of putting a bit of mesh or something in here, and I might even cut out another end. Might cut out another window at this end, just so you can see more into the hab, which is quite cool, and figures inside can shoot out, of course, as well. And then this wall, not the other wall, that's going to go whoop, spin that around. That goes on the top over here. You can just see this detail here, and that'll sit over there, and that's going to have a roof section on it, which will kind of help to hold it all in place. In fact, I think I might put that entire, like that. How cool is that? I'll zoom out. No, zoom in. There we go. So that's now holding all that in place there, which is quite neat. That will need a set of steps. So the wall is going to be permanently stuck in place on the top there, and a roof will be lifted off, and that way there we got a door. Oh, so we're going to have steps here. That'll be stuck on permanently. Door there. It does make, if I move this, it's all going to fall apart. Hang on, I'll take the camera off. It does make this end all a bit skewy and lopsided, because my barricade doesn't fit the end perfectly. But actually I quite like that. That's going to give us more view into the lab, and yeah, adds to the ad hoc kind of nature of the thing. So now we're doing quite well. We've got this walkway here. Got this dome. I want to do something more with this. Come to that in one moment. I've got to put up railings and bits and pieces on up here, and I've got to add something to this. And then I'm nearly at the point where I've got all the structural stuff done, I think, to be quite honest. I want to get on and paint this mother. But let's have a look. Right, let's put this back on the tripod. I started sticking this beast together. Check it out. Chugga, 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 chugga. I've had this. This is a, for those of you who don't know, which I can't believe there are many people who are looking at this don't know what it is, but of those of you who are watching, if you don't know what this is a frigate. This is a frigate. This is a frigate from the Kahadron Overlords from Warhammer Age of Sigmar. It hasn't got the big bally things on the top here yet. I made a couple of them. There we go. Look, there's one. Like that. Chug, chug, chug. And another one to go behind it. It's pretty cool. Had these kicking around for some time. Like, 2 years at least. Keep threatening to do something with them. Might even learn to play in Age of Sigmar. Oh, I don't know. Neil, if you're watching this, yeah, it's your fault. But because keep an eye out in 2022 for some Kahadron Overlord related Age of Sigmar Warhammer Quest Cursed City kind of scenery that might be coming for Kahadron Overlords. But the cool thing about this is that I made this, and then I made this, and I realised I had to stick this bit here together on the frigate for this kind of like funky ball thing to fit on. That holds the ether stuff, the goo that makes Arcanaut stuff work. Kahadron stuff work. Now, what's cool about that is you'll remember that, or you might not, you'll remember from my last video, from the start of the build of this, and one of the things that kind of like kicked this whole model off was the various bits of Kahadron Overlord dome that I've used on this model. Like this bit there, and that bit we were looking at a moment ago, and a couple of bits underneath in other places. Well, those bits were supplied to me by my friend Gary at Black Dragon Miniatures in Leicestershire, and because he's made an Age of Sigmar Kahadron Overlords force entirely out of the floating vehicles, but he doesn't like the bally bits, and he hasn't used them. And he turned up at mine with loads of sprues of Kahadron Overlord bally bits saying, can you make use of these? I was like, too bloody right I can. And what's cool is, going back to this model, I've got a sprue with this bit on it, because he's obviously made a frigate and not used the bally bits here. He's just used this bit, which is fair enough. And I really liked this, and I wondered if I could use it. And then, because I've got that, I've also got the components to make this bally bit, and I decided that actually what's really neat, here we go, here are the components to make yeah, there are. There's the thing, there's that thing there, and so I've decided that what would be really, really neat would be to mount this thing, mount this, and I'll stick it on here one way or another, and I reckon I can mount that neatly with the magic of plastic glue with the one of these, not this one obviously because this is for the frigate I've made, but the one I've got the spare bits for, on here like this. I could put a hatch on the other bit there, and then that way there I'm going to get this really cool chemical kind of device. See, dry fitting stuff, my process of fiddling around and putting stuff together is great, but it's very droppy. You end up with a lot of stuff on the floor. Anyway, well, bottom line, I'm going to stick this on there. I'm going to stick a bally thing on there because I really like the different kind of aesthetic that these Hadron globes are giving this model. It's not all kind of like angular and clunky. There's a certain amount of chemical, sciencey, different kinds of kit. So I'm going to find all the bits to make another one of these. I'm going to stick this together. I'm going to stick that on there. This then gives me something going on over here. Empty space here. And then I've got a couple of plans for a couple of other bits too. So stick around, kids, because there's going to be a couple of other things going on as well. Okay, so I've also got the thermoplasmic thing, generator malarkey. I don't know what these things are supposed to be, but you know, you've all seen these. You've got these on your Necromunda models in one place or another. They've got the little power units that go in them. I like these. I've decided I think that I'm going to have one of these attached to the bottom of the a cooling tower over here. I'm going to put that in here underneath, attached to the bottom of the cooling tower, with at least one power thing in it and one probably lying on the floor because that'll make it look a bit lived in. And I've then got a toolkit and a fire extinguisher and things that I can leave lying around, and that'll make it a little kind of like vignette down there, which would be quite neat. So maybe not completely backed up against that, but sitting there like that kind of thing, because it's kind of like crowded out and all of this area is all going to be very busy with gear, so it doesn't matter too much. By the time I've got one of these things floating here as well, you're not going to be able to get much hands in there anyway, so, but I think that'll make a really interesting visual thing going on there. So, whoop, wow, that's terrifying. So I'm going to stick those two things together and stick them onto the model and then see where we are. Problem with this kind of model and having this amount of plastic cack is that you keep finding things again. Oh, I could add that, I could add that. So now I'm messing around with staircases. I'm thinking of having a staircase from here down and then doing a bit of a turn and going on here. Let's see if I can make that work. It might be quite neat. It might completely screw up putting your hands in the middle of the model, but it will look really neat. I love stairs. Stairs are great, and now I don't have enough on the model, so I might as well use them all on this one. I've got loads of them. Don't know how. Yeah, so yeah, let's do it. Let's give it a go, see what it looks like. There's going to be some chopping up, because I'm not going to need all of these stairs, only bits of them. So, staircase is solid. Check this out. Let's have a quick zoom on that. Glue's dried, zoomed. It looks pretty cool. Ubiquitous Orlock approves. I'm now at the point where I'm going to pretty much stop doing anything else to this model now. I've got so much going on. I'm going to add the odd little extra thing. I've got two major things to think about, and that's it. And then that'll be done, and I'll have to paint it. The two things are, first of all, some barricades around the edge, around here and around here, because it's really, really open, and in some cases, yeah, I've got some of the landing pad side wall barricadey things, although I'm kind of tempted to cut off this so it doesn't look quite so crenellated, make it look like a castle. I'm probably just going to have kind of walls, and I might carve off the Aquillas as well, but they might kind of work in some places, and in other places I've got some barricade bits and things. Where are we? Around the table, here we go. A couple of the stronghold doors. I've used all the other bits from the stronghold, but I haven't used stronghold doors, and they've got these nice hingy bits that will work quite nicely sitting on the side. So I'm going to use those in a couple of places as well. Give it a bit more of a kind of like repaired and rebuilt kind of look. And then the only other thing I'm going to think about is lighting. But actually the lighting is probably going to happen after I've painted. I think it might be the very last thing that I do, because it's going to be stuff that I'm going to stick on separately. I think I've got a plan for lighting, and it's going to so we'll have to see how that goes. LED lights and that kind of thing. I have put an LED holder under here, which I need to dress up a bit to make it look a bit less obvious as a 3D printed thing, just with some kind of like sci-fi gubbing stuck to it. But that'll be able to have a green light or something stuck on there. But then I want a string of lights to light up this facility as well. And I've got a great plan for that, but I'll show that to you when the rest of it is painted. I'm going to paint up the thing and then just stick it on and work out where it goes. Remember, the Hab Lab over here is completely separate. I've done that so I can get my hand inside the model around the back here to paint, and so I can paint all the details on this without having to handle the whole model as well, which is kind of like quite a cunning kind of plan, I think. So I'm pleased with that. So that's just freestanding. It could technically, I suppose, just always be a freestanding thing, but that won't work with my plans that I've got for other stuff. So one last dig through the cack then to find walls, and I'm going to stick them on and then see what I go. And I'm not going to have walls around the whole thing. I don't want it to be a fort. I want some precarious bits, but in other places some kind of wall would work. Right, let's do that then. The problem with this digging through the cack just for little bits, just trying to find things like barricades and stuff, is that you find other interesting things. Found this computer terminal kind of thing. I can't remember what it's from. I think it's it's an AdMech something or other. But yeah, that fits with a bit of trimming really nicely on the bottom of that, like that. That's quite cool. Although now I've cut it out to fit on this side, there's no room for figures to get around this side. So I might not have that on there, but it is quite neat on this side. I quite like that around there. Or I could just go with this bit around there and just kind of another thing. Although you can see inside it, which is no bloody good at all. I just don't know. I can't decide now. Wow, I'm really close to the camera, aren't I? Right, I am now stopping sticking. I'm not sticking any more plastic stuff on this model. Probably. Yeah, okay, so now look, check it out. We've got barricades around the edges, around here, some around here. We've got, I haven't gone all the way around. It's big space here without any at all. I've got an opener here a bit because something's going to go in that space after we've painted. And then round this side here we've got more barricades and some ruined barricades, orky kind of stuff as well. So that's all on. What else have we done? We've done more to the column over here underneath the watchtower, and the tower platform on top of the chimney stack. Cooling tower has now got a load of barricades on it as well, and acts as quite a cool kind of like lookout. I kind of like that. Ubiquitous Orlok is modelling this, of course, because I don't have any Escher figures painted and ready. So here he is, looking proper hard, doing a good job. Yeah, sucks boo to everybody else. So yes, we've got our strange chemical kind of like mixing storage devices here. We've got the staircase running up the middle. I really am now at the point where I need to stop and paint this baby. Get it undercoated, get it painted, and get the model finished. So that, without any further ado, we're going to go and get this undercoated and painted. Actually, that's not totally true because it's Friday night. It's about 9 o'clock and it's getting towards about only 2 degrees outside. So undercoating this is going to have to wait until tomorrow because it ain't going to work very well at all whatsoever. However, that means I've got plenty of time to get on with the other things. Hey, I could stick together some Escher figures, couldn't I? Or I can't paint the water guys because they're not undercoated, but I'm sure I can find something else to paint, stick together, or do whichever else. Make some Escher figures to go on this thing. That might be quite neat. One thing I haven't considered this time round and that's because I'm not going to, because this video is going to be long enough as it is, I'd imagine, is a vessel of any description to come alongside the jetty and what have you. That might have to be another video, kind of like Escher storage container water moving vehicle. That could be quite cool, couldn't it? I could use more Cahadron domes and globes. Anyway, let's crack on with the painting. Okay, so I would hardly call this painted. This is primed and base coated. I've used Halford's matte black spray on the whole model, and I've also, because it's such a huge model and it's going to be really awkward to paint in many ways, especially in some of the fiddly bits, I've also used a Halford's Austin Rover gunmetal spray over the entire model to give it the metal thing. The next job is going to be to dry brush a ton of Mornfang brown onto it. I might do some super glue and baking soda effects on it as well to add some cack, because the whole thing now needs dirtying up quite a lot, rusting up. Although I might just use some sand, really fine grained sand on places and that kind of thing, because it's very, very clean at the moment. And then I've kept, whoops, all of these bits separate. The Hab Lab little stack here, and as I've gone all the way along, two sides open up so I can paint inside here easily and inside here easily. So they're the next bits that I'm going to get on and paint. I'm going to paint the whole model, obviously. And what I'm not going to do in this video is show you much of the painting process. Two reasons. A, that's pretty much a whole nother video all in its own right. B, there are much, much better scenery painters out there than me. If you want to learn how to paint scenery, go and watch them. Come back to me for the overall kind of effect and all the rest of it. Life is too short to watch Tim paint his models. So I'm going to get on with this bit first. I'm going to do this bit at a Hab Lab. And then I'm going to get on with all of that. And I'll discuss it. I might chuck the odd bit in when I'm painting a new bit. But on the whole, I just need to get on and get this damn thing painted, because I want to get on with other things before Christmas. And at this rate, it ain't going to happen. So let's find the paintbrushes and paints, kids, and paint that model. Yay! Paint that model! Yay! Boo! Most of the model is mostly painted. Yeah, I could sit and spend hours and hours and hours putting more details on it. I probably will, and I'm certainly going to come back to it. Now, the most important thing to do is to get the Sump boards painted. I seem to have a different mix every time I do this. I think what I'm probably going to do is eventually, when I've got enough Sump boards done, I will mix up one load of paint everything at the same time. So, yeah, we're going to give it a go. I'm mostly using, there's a lot of paint here. So I'm using Winsor & Newton acrylic. That's phthalo green. And this is burnt umber. I'm going to mix it with Mod Podge, because the Mod Podge will go off, help it go hard, and also add another layer of protection. So all of that mixed up, making green over the entire base, and that will get me one step closer to this model being finished. Hurrah! Green in tub, go. Fuck's sake. Lovely dark green. That's no good at all for what I want to do. Mod Podge in tub, go. And a bunch of burnt umber. Don't know how much is in there though. We'll have to see. No, you don't need to do the rest of this. Yeah, I'm going to get a big brush. There it is. I'm going to paint it green. Easy. Alright, nearly there now. And what I'm doing is stippling the paint on. Giving a bit of extra texture. and ripples and the like. And then there's no brush marks as such, indicating where the water's come from. So this has been a mix of green, that Winsor Newton green, and then that Winsor Newton burnt umber, and then a bunch of real yellow Citadel paint to lighten it up in places. Right, so we're nearing completion on this model then, which is great. The green water's on. That looks pretty cool. Nicely stippled. And I've got some bits to do to that. And there's still loads of details. The problem with this kind of model actually is you can spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours picking out all the details. And I'm sure I'm going to go back and do some of that, but right now I want to get it finished. So the next thing I have to do is stick the Hab Lab in place. We get this stuck in, then I can work around the other bits, which is lighting. I'll have to get to that in a moment. So I'm going to wield the super glue because there's so much paint now involved in this, so I don't think polycement's going to do it. I'm going to stick the Hab Lab in place, yeah, then we'll be in a position where that's all good, and that's going to glue underneath the bulkheads, and also by the looks of it going to glue across this top section here. It's going to glue onto where the stairs are, so hopefully that will glue in a number of places and make it a good solid bond and really good strong part of the model. The other thing I want to do is stick some posters on the walls on the inside of the Hab Lab, but we'll get to that in a moment. So super glue, that's what we need. Gorilla Glue, please. That's the Hab Lab glued in place, and to help out I think I'm just going to chuck a load more super glue around the base of these bulkheads, and then throw in a load of sand that will hopefully become like a bonding agent and hold everything together as well. I need a little bit of painting up, but that won't be too bad. Okay, so that's now sticking, and you can see all the sand down here. Hopefully that will all help to go solid, hold the whole model in place. So I'm now going to leave that to stick. And now I've got this pipe here that's coming off the top of the column, the chimney. I want to attach to the top of that ball there. It's got a little knobbly Lego bit that sticks in there, which is not going to make a very good bond, so I'm going to cut that off. Just going to take the clips to that, clip that right off. Gives me a much bigger, flatter surface to glue. I'm going to put super glue because it's not the right kind of plastic to use polystyrene cement on. It's not going to melt. On to both things that I want to glue, and then decide where it would best go. Actually, it might look better if it goes there rather than on the top knob. I'm going to glue both sides, let it dry a bit, and then I'm going to stick the two bits together. So let the glue go off a bit first, and that will look quite cool. Give that a minute or two and we'll see what it looks like. Alright, before I go any further then, posters. Some of these are from Sump City Radio Facebook group, and some are from, I think it's Necromunda 2017 Facebook group. Anyway, you can find them in groups. All you need to do is go and look in file sections and search for posters, and you'll find them there. I'm going to stick some posters inside the Hab here. There are a number of cool ones of wanted posters, especially with Escher chick girls on, which I'm going to have, which is going to be like kind of fan art. They've kind of collected the wanted posters for members of their own gang, stuck them up. And then the Sump City Radio ones are pretty cool, and I've also got some Danger High Voltage and various other bits and pieces. This kind of thing always, if you can find a decent surface to put it on and then weather the poster, always helps to add that certain level of lived-in look that I really love about games and things like Necromunda. So from that point of view, a few posters around about the place on the inside and the outside would be pretty cool. Let's see what I can do. Alright, how frustrating is that? Even at this stage, when you think you've done everything proper, you get something that messes you about. I'm off the tripod now, so sorry about moving the camera around. Look at this is really annoying. This is my panel to stick onto the side of the lab. And I can't get it on because of the bloody stairs. How frustrating is that? Gonna have to do something about that. Gonna be cutting off bits of plastic. Okay, one wheel of the clippers. Need to splat a bit of paint on that, but that one now go in place because that needs to be glued in place anyway. The lid's going to lift off that, but the rest of that isn't. Crisis averted. Right then, so I've got some posters stuck on. I've stuck the wall section on the back of the lab. This section here isn't stuck on. That I can pull that out to get figures in, otherwise there's no way getting figures in there. Now the last major thing to do then for this model, because I am going to sit and add some paint details and bits and pieces, the last major thing to do for this model is add some light to it. I love putting light on Necromunda models, Underhive models, and this model is absolutely gagging for it. I think the best way to do that is I'm going to use a string of lights. Now, there are much cleverer people than me in the Necromunda communities who put lights on models, and they do it in all kinds of really clever ways with LEDs. I like actually to light a lot of these models with really simple light systems, and that's mainly because other people then can watch it and go, oh yeah, I could do that too. So I'm going to use one of these bottle garlands. It's the kind of thing with a fake plug, switch on the top, flick it on, turns on all the LEDs in a string. Now, I've seen these for sale in various places. You can go and buy them now, Christmassy ones, in places like Homebase. They'll cost you £5 each. Or you can go to, I don't know, Poundland or what we got, the factory shop near where I live, and you can pick them up for 2 or 3 garlands for £3 or so, and they work exactly the same thing. So what I've got is I've got one garland. I've already stretched it out. They've got I've got it here. They got, this one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 10 LEDs on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the tiny little screw so I can access the batteries always. But then I'm going to stick down the battery pack over here permanently. How well can we see that? Let's stick down the battery pack on the model. I don't have to paint it or do anything else with it in this case, with this one, because what I'm going to use is this, which is some kind of light fitting, which I've already drilled out. I've cut out everything on the inside. There's nothing there. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to string the LEDs, LED string through the light fitting. I've drilled it out enough so that so it will fit over the entire LED, over the battery pack basically, and I'll have the string of LEDs out. So that's going to do that, which will then get painted up. This bit I'm not going to stick down at all. Alright, the LED set is going to be stuck down. This bit here that goes over the top of it's not going to be stuck down at all, because then I can lift it up freely to get to the switch, turn my lights on and off nice and easily. So that's my plan there. That's going to sit just there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed my string of LEDs through the model. I've got a conveniently cut hole at the back of this hab unit here, and this is why one of the things I could take off here. I'm then going to put that up in the ceiling. It's going to come out of the holes at the end of this wall here, up and into the lab, and light up the lab, and then maybe come out and light up some of the model on the other side as well. So we're going to have a look and see what that looks like. Let's just zoom in down here. So here's then, and that I think is going to look pretty cool. I mean, that's, by the time we let's put a figure next to it. By the time Ubiquitous Orlock is stood next to it there, and it's painted up, I think that's going to look absolutely fine. And we're going to have power coming out the top of that, running to various points of the model, and we're going to get it lit up. Really, really simple solution. Cost £1.50. The light fitting was just in my junk. If you could find a way of disguising your garland, not the first time I used a garland LED. I used them on the mechanic workshop and various other things for Pier Town. If you could disguise them, then they work beautifully, and you don't need to be some kind of LED genius. This stuff is so accessible now, it's ridiculous. So I'm going to do that. I need to get the little screw out, and then I need to stick that down and get that stuck in place. And now I'm nearly finished apart from this. Then I'm going to put all the lighting in. I then need to paint over that sand that I used as a bonding agent on the super glue, and I could sit and pick out details, and then we're done. Oh, the other thing I need to do, because I didn't think about doing that when I did it, was I'm going to paint a coat of gloss Mod Podge over the top of the sump water. That will help to seal it, and it will also give it a wet look, which will be great. And then we're pretty much there. So let's crack on with the last bit of making this model. Alright, there it is in place, and you can follow the cable up. It goes through the hab block there, hanging down from the ceiling, 2 LEDs in there, then out round about the stairs, below the stairs. Turn it on. Just a flick of a switch. There we go. Lights. Nice, nice, nice. Let's turn the light off. Pretty. Lighting on the walkways. Lighting down below and under the staircases. That's pretty cool. I like that. Lighting in the hab block. Can't wait to put this on a table with a bunch of other stuff in the dark. All lit up, it'll look pretty cool. Okay, I'm calling this one done. To be honest, there's loads I could still do to this model from a paint job point of view. I really, really could. And no doubt I'm going to go back to this and spend and tinker for hours picking out loads more details. I mean, just these Adeptus Mechanicus kind of walkways, there's so much detail in there you could sit and pick out for hours and hours and hours, which I love the idea of doing, but frankly life's too short, man. I want to put this on a table alongside other bits of Necromunda scenery and see what it looks like. That's the absolute key here. Actually, one of the things I think I'm definitely going to do, I said it earlier when it came to the water, I'm probably going to get to the point where I've made a whole bunch of these. I'm going to put them together and then try and paint some things so they then get a kind of like a theme, or kind of like get continuity across the whole table. But on the whole, I'm really pleased with how this has turned out. I think it's quite a big piece of scenery. It's used loads of elements from lots of different kits and junk as well. So all that kind of thing has all been mashed together. It's worked out all right. It works fine with different figures on it. I've got to do now, look, the one thing I have failed to do in the 2 or 3 weeks it's taken me to make this model is I've still totally failed to paint any of my water siphon delegation or even stuck any Escher figures together. So in a few moments time, all the saucy shots, all the close-ups and around about the place are going to be with some Orlocks that I've kind of painted and some of Ted's Delac and other figures. But, you know, hey-ho, Necromunda figures are Necromunda figures. So yes, this then is the latest in my Sump C series. I hope you've enjoyed this video. In a moment, of course, I'm going to do the bit where I put it on a table, where you get a close-up look at all of this, and then I put it with all the other stuff. And I hope you start to see this kind of like set of scenery building and expanding. If you think there's stuff that I'm missing, if you think there's a particular sump seed tile I ought to make, apart from some blank water ones with just maybe some jetties and walkways and things on, right? If you think there's a particular thing that I can make, either themed to a particular house or something that's missing, please, please, please do make sure you leave comments down below, because I'm always after ideas. I'm always interested in what other people think would look great on a tabletop. If you generally have liked and enjoyed this video, make sure you click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, then, well, I can't believe that, because I can't believe there are more than 4,000 people in the world who actually want to watch me. But if you haven't subscribed to this channel, do please click subscribe as well. And remember, it's not too late to join my Patreon to enter this month's Patreon competition. So you can always join my Patreon at patreon.com/MagratheaBuilderWorlds. That is all entirely possible. This is probably going to be the last full complete model I get made before the turn of the year. Although I've got a couple of builds kind of underway, we'll have to see how we go. Actually, I better pull my finger out. One of them I'm supposed to be trying to finish with my wife for Christmas, so that might be a video before the end of the year, but this is probably going to be my last video before the end of the year with a proper build. Certainly is going to be my last Necromunda video of 2021. So if you're only here for the Necromunda, then I'll see you in 2022, and let's see what the new year brings. If you're here for everything else, then there are probably other videos to come over the festive period this year and into the new year. So all that leaves to say then is thanks very much for watching Magrathea Builder Worlds over these last, not sure, 18 months now. It's been an absolute blast. I'm having a great time. I've made some really nice scenery pieces as far as I'm concerned. I'm very happy with them. I can't believe how many people watch each week or each month or whatever it is. I'm looking forward to new modelling challenges for 2022. Thanks for watching Magrathea Builder World. I'll see you next time. Yeah, I know what you're waiting for. You're waiting for the saucy bit where it's all on the table, aren't you? You want to see the close-ups, don't you? You want that camera there to come down here and look at all the kind of like nice saucy bits and all the details and the rest of it. I'm going to have to turn the lights on, and then we can do that. And then I'm going to go and find a load of scenery and put it all together, turn on all the lights, and you can see all that together all in one place as well. Way! Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Let's turn the lights on. I left them on ages ago. Oh no, we've still got some lights there. That's very, very cool.